Welcome to Joinavision Meets, and today I'm talking to Olesya Lane, who comes from Northampton, originally from the Ukraine, and Olesya is mad about recycling clothing and stitching, and as you can see on her wall, make, do and mend. She's got a lot of things to tell us about how to upcycle and recycle our clothing. So over to you, Olesya.
Hello everyone, my name is Olesya Lane and I'm based in Northamptonshire, Toaster, it's a little town, and I promote textile waste reduction. That's basically, to make it short, I teach how to mend and upcycle clothing. I think that nowadays this is getting more and more popular. Not everyone can do that, unfortunately, and it has so many sides. I'm going to be talking about that. But for me, it started when I was a little girl, probably around 7-10 years old. And I took my dad's t-shirt and I chopped it into pieces and I made the top for myself. Of course, I was excited to do that. And my dad didn't mind me doing that. And I believe when I was a child, my creativity was expressed in different ways. I was embroidering my jeans. I was making soft toys from bits and pieces. I was making jewelry from different beads and small beads that I couldn't find. And I was making handbags for me from my mom's old bags. So my childhood and my university years were very creative. I grew up also in a household. By the way, I'm from Ukraine, and I've been living there for 20 plus years before my travels and living in a different country. I grew up in a household where we had a sewing machine and knitting machine. So I saw my mom making things, mending. We were working on upcycling projects with my mom as well. So for me, it was natural and normal. My two children now, two boys, they're 4 and 6 years old. They see me mending their trousers, their jeans. They see me fixing things, remaking things. So for them, it's natural environment as well. So they don't see me taking our clothes to a charity shop on a monthly basis or throwing it away. So I believe it's really, really important, the environment for children. So yeah, I was a little girl and my grandma helped me to learn how to use sewing machine, and we were working on some projects with her. And I really loved that. And I was excited on working on that. And it's a little like very, very good learning curve for me. Well, later on, my education and work experience had nothing to do with fashion, believe it or not, or clothes making, or upcycling, sewing, fabrics, creativity even, I can say. But my work experience and education, I can say that they helped me nowadays, even when I had to create my own tutorial. For me, it was easy to sit down and write everything, all my knowledge, in the way that someone who has no clue about sewing or creativity can do and create things. So it was really, really helpful for me. I've been living in the Middle East for around 10 years. I've been living in Ireland, where I met an amazing person. She taught me a lot of things about creativity and especially quilting. We had Monday nights, quilting nights, where we were sitting and stitching quilts for charity. So it was really so much fun, you know. Nowadays, even stitching is called as slow meditation. And you know, when you do some stitching by hand, it will make you relax. It will make you disconnect from all the things that are going around us. And also when you finish your project, you will be proud of yourself, and it's a skill that not many people can do.
Mm.
So yeah, my passion, yeah, it was a long road. It was a long way until I reached this stage where I'm now. And I traveled to Sweden even. If you heard about the Retuna Mall, it's the world's first recycling mall. All things that are being sold there, they are discarded and upcycled in a way by those people who sell them. So it's a really, really nice place to visit, to learn for me, because when I started doing my research in the UK and what happens here with the clothing thrown away and furniture being thrown away and what people can do, simple things to reduce the volume of what is going to the landfill. And yeah, it was really eye-opening, especially when I started doing research in the UK. When we moved to the UK around 5 years ago, more even, I noticed that there were quite a few charity shops in our little village, I can say, I can call it a village. And I started asking questions. I started doing research, why it's happening, where the clothes is going, if it's not sold, where it's coming from, and all the things. I watched a lot of documentaries, and then I was surprised, not in a nice way, with the results. I found out that in the UK, in the charity shops, only 30% of clothing is being sold. Clothing that is being donated and collected in the UK is being sold through charity shops or vintage markets, and it's only 30% is being sold. The rest, it's either landfills, incinerated, or exported to Eastern Europe or Africa, and then people are trying to sell it there. And because of the quality of clothing, it ends up in the landfills there anyway. So whenever we take something, throw it out, throw it away, there is no such thing as a way. So I can see that the mentality and the habits are changing, and people started thinking about fast fashion, about disposable clothing, and that's not how it should be. And for me, mending your clothes or upcycling your clothes or wearing pre-loved, upcycled or vintage, it's not a sign of your wealth or status. It's for me, it's a sign of respect towards people who made this clothing, and also it's about looking after our environment. So that's really simple. So yeah, I've been traveling a lot.
And did you
yeah, it was, yeah.
Did you find that all the different countries you've traveled in, so like in the Middle East and everywhere, where different clothing, different styles were seeds for your inspiration for things you would, then work on? Did you?
Yes, yes, it was a really great experience. We have different cultures. For example, Far East, Malaysia, Nepal, India, Japan, they have beautiful, colorful clothes that has its symbol as abundance. Colors, patterns, all those textures, it's always symbolizes abundance, joy. So yeah, and there are a lot of techniques that's worth passing on, worth learning. For example, kanta stitching in India, or sashiko stitching in Japan. It's been there, I think, since 1600s in Japan.
What's that word?
Sashiko stitching in Japan. First recordings about it were about 1600s. And it was the way for people to preserve their clothing, to make it warmer. So when winter comes, women were sitting together in a circle and stitching clothes, adding layers, patches more, make it warmer. And stitching, it's just basically simple running stitch. And they had to do it fast because, when it's getting colder, their husbands, they were going to farms, fishing, they had to wear something warmer. So it had to be done very, very, very fast, you know. And nowadays, sashiko stitching is considered slow stitching meditation because, yeah, as I mentioned before, it's for our emotional peace. And really, when you get to see your project, when you finish it, and when you get those compliments from your friends and family, it's just, yeah, it will make you feel proud, definitely, and will boost your self-confidence as well. So yeah, maybe you will you will convince some of your family and friends to start doing that as well. So yeah, I like taking inspiration from history, cultures, different, you know, patterns, their techniques, and the recent one is liberation skirts from the Netherlands, and it's like post-war period, women didn't have anything, and they started making skirts from fabric scraps that they had, and they ended up having those beautiful, bright skirts. And it's also, you know, collaboration and supporting each other during really, really difficult post-war times.
I remember hearing a couple of years ago, it was a campaign, I think, to stop you've got Christmas pajamas, Christmas jumpers,
Yeah,
because they were saying billions and billions of these Christmas jumpers as part of a kind of pre-Christmas thing were being sold in places like Primark and, well, all the mainstream shopping, yet they were just worn on Christmas Day or that period, and then just ended, and it was just ridiculous. And
yes,
I don't know whether that campaign did anything, but that is a case in point where people just so used to just buying something and chucking it out after one event, perhaps, rather than respecting it and continuing with it.
Yeah, the thing is that people should worry about themselves and their inner peace and inner calm, rather than worrying about what people think about my clothing. That's about Christmas jumpers. For example, nobody will ever remember what Christmas jumper you were wearing last year. Trust me. If you wear it again next year and then again next year, nobody will remember, nobody will say anything. And then if they ask you, say, yes, I love my jumper. What's wrong with that? People are worried about themselves, how they look. But worrying about others people's opinion, I think we should have been passed through this stage, to be honest. And I see this problem with fast fashion and problem with taking pictures, and every time you had to wear something new, and it's internal problem, it's psychological, emotional problem that people have, and they're trying to find a solution in clothing that they wear. I just mentioned funny thing recently in my interview. When you put the shiniest, the beautifulest, the most expensive robe on your sweetie, if the sweetie is bitter, then tough, it wouldn't work.
Those quality street wrappers with all their sparkly wrapping.
Yeah.
Have you got any examples of some of the clothing you've made recently with you?
I'm just working on something at the moment, but I will show you not the recent, but the most noticeable thing that, you know, people like it because it's simple to do. And so that's a pinafore dress that I bought when I was in Dubai, by the way, in 2013, 12, 13. And this was just plain, this gray color, plain one color, that's it. Since then I had kids, and I don't wear, this was very fit design. Now I would like to wear a jumper under it, so I had to remake it a little bit so I could still wear it. So what I did, I changed the buttons. So things that you can do, change the buttons to make your garment look much better, different, joyful, that's important.
Like, you keep using joyful, lovely.
Yeah. I added those patches, fabric patches on pocket flaps, and I added those panels on the side to make it a bit bigger and relaxed fit, you know. And pockets, I added panels on pockets in the same shape, and everything was done here by hand. Everything was stitched by hand, except of this, of course, but this can be stitched by hand as well. And the same on the back. And when I wear it, people notice it, and people ask me about it. And for me, when I wear my clothing, for me, I make it look like it's conversational starter, icebreaker, and showstopper. And people are encouraged to ask me about it, give me compliments, and talk about it to me. And that's for me a chance to talk about fast fashion waste, about mending, upcycling, and what they can do. So yeah, when I say that it takes 2,500 gallons of water, 2,500 gallons of water to make one pair of jeans.
Really?
Cotton is very thirsty, and in addition to all chemicals that are being washed away during the production, one person drinks 15 gallons of water per month. So think about it when you want just another pair of jeans. Think about it again and again, and don't take your jeans to a charity shop, because anyway, you will buy something similar. Because jeans, what is jeans? It's a stable fabric, same color, bluish, darker, lighter, sometimes gray or black, same cut. There is not much space, really, not much room for different cuts and styles. So jeans is jeans, that's it. So think about it. And when I mention this to people, 2,500 gallons of water, they remember this.
Amazing. We just take it for granted, don't we? We just blindly go through, oh, just a pair of jeans, that's okay. And
yeah, that's true. And you know, our family journey was up and down. My personal journey was up and down. You know, I've been in university and I was asking questions about things, and then further down the line when I did my MBA, I was asking questions about different things. And here, with all the things that happening around us, also I've been asking questions about everything. I'm not going to talk about it, but I will mention just one simple example for you. When all people are counting calories in their food, calories and fat or whatever else, I think people should be looking more into chemicals that are, instead of calories, chemicals that are in their food. Then another example, fast fashion, you want something new again and again, but if you look at it, you're wasting your money, you're throwing your money away. And look at a garment as an investment. Buy something of good quality, that will last longer, that will be of classic style, maybe classic color pattern, something that will suit you. It's not something it's very trendy today and out of order tomorrow. So I think it's worth looking at dressing up in a little bit different way. And you know, these past 2 years, almost already 2 years, yeah, it's been a really, really interesting time, and I'm sure it was for all people who will be watching that. And I'm really happy that I joined the group Joinavision. It's really, I'm happy to say that I found like-minded people. It's not so easy nowadays because people are really much divided, unfortunately. And even when some people see that things are wrong, they will just go with it. And I would love to change so many things in the way we live. For example, our houses, in the way we have our utilities, in the way we get our food from whatever, you know. A lot of things are a little bit not right. So yeah, fast fashion waste, it's like part of the issue, I would say, because it's all about money, power, corruption, I have to mention. And it's difficult to convince the government that things are being done in the wrong way with fast fashion, for example, and the almost important to convince the big corporations who produce clothing, because money involved, of course, profits are involved. So I think the only chance for us to change something is power to the people.
Mm-hmm.
And consumerism is changing now. And it's really important that we grow community groups. We have this grassroots movement. It's not about top to bottom power anymore, because we've had enough. Things went wrong for centuries. And now I think it's time to do grassroots movement and do it in the way we like, in the way we think is best for us, for our children, especially. You know, now I'm really concerned about my children's education. Well, I'm not really concerned, but I'm kind of ready that at some point I might take them out from school. That's fine. They are 4 and 6 years old. So if I'm going to do that, most probably I will not follow the school program, of course. But there are more important things to learn in life. And whatever I learned when I was in my 20s, 30s, I think they should learn now.
Yes, because so many skills, but those basics.
Yes.
So, I mean, I've noticed I can't sew. But I don't think I've even got a thread in the house. But it's something I'd love to have done, you know, it just never happened. And so many of those essential skills, which I think, you know, sewing and mending is really an essential skill. And the children probably just learning all techie stuff and not learning the basics like woodwork and cooking and how to survive and that kind of, all those skills are really
food preservation. Food preservation too.
And I think what's good also, as you were saying with Joinavision, is there's different people with different skills and different threads and all coming together, and it'd be great to have, as that grows, to have those skills.
Yeah, that's true.
Sewing circles or whatever you'd be doing, and other people would be doing the cooking and sharing those.
Chat and stitch evening.
There was the knitting nanas, wasn't there, for the fracking in Australia? They were the knitting nanas. And so that's fantastic. And so is there any, I know when I saw you before, you had some of those mitteny. Have you perhaps
yes. Look at Christmas time, winter season, you know, but actually in the UK you can wear them all year round because it's warm, then next day it's cold, you know. I make them from sweaters. These are hand warmers. Basically
right,
they look like that
from sweaters, and you've just cut off the arms and
so
where you say a small bit at the wrist there would further up that arm then be used for a further up part of another pair.
The stitch. And basically these are leftovers that I have from my projects when I work on bigger projects, sweaters, dresses, or something like that. Of course, I have a lot of leftovers, and either I make those hand warmers. They're really, really good for people who have always cold hands and feet, you know, leg warmers in the same thing. And if you have a jumper, for example, and you washed it in a wrong setting in a washing machine and it shrunk, a lot of sweaters now, they're made of wool that is okay with just normal washing machine cycle. But if it shrunk, what you can do, you can use the sleeves to make leg warmers.
Back to the 80s.
Yes, yes. Or if sleeves, if even the sleeves shrink to the condition that it's really tight on your arm, so you can do what you can do, you can just cut them off and do a little bit of stitching to stop it from unraveling here and here as well. You can
Is that with a sewing machine, that stitching?
Yeah, it's done with overlocker, of course. Yeah. But you can just make a hole and do a little bit of stitching. It's blanket stitch or overcast stitch, and just to stop it from unraveling. Or you can make them without any thumb holes, just like that, whatever you like. And my children, they wear leg warmers in winter because the floor is always cold in the house, even if the heating is up, and running, the floor is always cold. So what I do, I make leg warmers for them. It should be wool, definitely. If you have very sensitive skin, then you can go with the acrylic or blend or something else. But for leg warmers, I usually use wool because it really works, even if they have snotty noses. They sleep, cold. It often happens with children in winter. They sleep in leg warmers overnight. When they fall asleep, I put them on quietly, socks and leg warmers, and it really helps. A couple of days and snotty nose is gone. I noticed there is a difference between these and just socks, probably because these leg warmers, they go up to a knee. So I believe this might make a big difference between the socks, and socks are not really 100% wool. It's usually cotton or blend or something, So yeah, just little stripes of fabric. Or if you have shrunk sweater, people get upset when they have shrunk sweaters, but actually you can do a lot of things with it because it's all really good fabric and it's stable, and hand warmers, leg warmers, and I have them different colors, different.
Oh yeah. And would you go to a charity shop to actually buy some sweaters or get all the
Of course. I do it as not only my hobby but as a business, some sort of as well. Sometimes I get even damaged sweaters from charity shop. They give me some discount, but if people cannot mend it, then
they're quite strict now, the charity shops, aren't they? They won't even put anything out on the shelves if they've got a slight blemish.
Yeah, but if they missed it and I notice it, then it's good for me. I teach people Zoom lessons or face-to-face, whatever. I mend things for people in the community here, zippers, camping tents, handbags, whatever, taking up trousers, so many different things, really.
Wow. And do you make hats at all? That's another, talking of winter.
Hats, yes. I have an idea in my head, and it's again something to do with the small pieces leftovers, so I might be starting them soon.
And for anyone who wants to find out more about your workshops and things, or your Zoom classes, I'll put the link of your website on Joinavision Meets. And can they just get in touch with you on there, or do you put all your courses and things on there?
Yes. I have a few videos on YouTube as well, and of course all information you can find it on my website. And I really encourage you to try something. What you can start with is go for 200 days without buying anything new. I had the hashtag before, I think I started it last year or the year before, 200 days that matter, hashtag 200 days that matter. It's basically going for 200 days without buying anything new. Of course, we have our exceptions, maybe socks, maybe underwear, but you can buy pre-loved vintage clothing. Upcycled, but you cannot buy anything new. So if it sounds scary, 200 days, start with 30 days, then go to 100 days. Then when you break out from this habit, buying something new just because you feel like, it will be much easier for you. And then you will be shopping in your own wardrobe first. And then you will think what you can do to adjust something. Maybe I noticed that there are a few problems that people have with their clothing before they decide to throw it away or give it away. The item is either too big, too small, damaged, stained, or you don't like the color and you don't like the style. So all these things can be changed easily. Too big, too small, you can do alterations. If there is a stain, if there is a hole, you can do the same. You can hide it with the visible mending. And if the garment is something that you no longer like, the color, for example, I showed you my pinafore dress. That's how you can add more color. And that's one idea for you, what you can do to change style. In case, I will give you one example how you can change a style of your clothing. So for example, I don't wear formal clothes anymore because I don't work in the office. And I have a few formal trousers. So I thought, what can I do to make them look very casual and not so formal? So what I did, I dismantled my son's jeans and I got these fabric panels and I stitched them on my formal trousers. And this pair of jeans was even mended before when my sons were wearing it. I think they were 1 year old or something, learning to walk, and it was crawling. So that's why the knees, giving up first. So I stitched this pair of jeans, dismantled, on my formal trousers.
Oh.
And when I wear this pair of trousers, people notice it and people ask me, and I tell them a story. A lot of my garments, they have stories to tell, they have interesting situations, something to talk about. So that's one of them. Yeah. So that's now really, really informal. So another thing I would like to share with you that's really easy and also has a story. When my eldest started school, we had a pre-loved uniform sale at school to raise some money for the school charity. So I went to help there to sell jumpers, cardigans, t-shirts, And then when it's done, there were a few jumpers that were not sold. And I couldn't think about them going to the landfill, honestly. Really, for me, it was like, oh no, because, school jumpers, they are made to last. The fabric is really strong. So I told the lady who was coordinating this, I said, okay, can I have these jumpers and I will think about something. So I took them home and I created upside down school jumper handbag. So that's basically a school jumper upside down. I covered the school logo here because school logo should be covered. So the neckline was here. I stitched it up together. So that's the bottom of the bag. And this is elasticated waistline of the jumper. So it's basically jumper upside down. I cut the sleeves here and I made handles from the sleeves. So it's very easy. And I made this mushroom applique with buttons, those clay leaves. And here on the back side, I did sewing.
Gosh, that's amazing.
Because, when I go out, I need to promote myself. And people recognize this color because they know the school and school jumpers, children running around. So people in the area, they know this color. So when I go out, I take this and here you go. So that's something you can do. Well, honestly, I'm hoping that there will be no uniform at schools very soon. That's my small little dream. And I'm also hoping that schools will change as well. As I mentioned before, I would like my children to learn something different than they do now. So now they're just learning how to read, write, and count. So that's, I think, important base for them. And then Also, I made the courageous decision to teach them the language I speak, my native tongue, Russian. So I have so many books
It's
in
great.
Russian, yeah. And for me, this bringing this culture to my children, to my family, it's really, really important because you know, our mentality, our generosity, our food, our traditions is something that I would love people to have around the world. It's really, really special. It's something really special about this part of the world. Food, traditions, houses, the way we do things, the way we celebrate things. And yeah, I would love to pass this on to my children as well.
What would you say is the main thing you've noticed between your Ukrainian upbringing in school and then having to bring your children up in a British school? What's the main, or community even, what's the main stark difference?
First thing is we start school when we are 7 in Ukraine. And here my children went to school when they were 4. I think it's too early. It's too early because before 7 years old, really the main, I don't remember about myself. I can't say this about myself a lot, but before 7 years old, the main vision, person's vision, human being vision is set up before 7 years, before they're 7. I think I've heard it from someone's research a few times. So I cannot say this about myself, to be honest. I've gone my own way. Though my parents, they had different vision from what I do, and I didn't agree with that. And I can say that I grew out of it. But my children would, for example, well, yeah, before they're 7, if they go to school and they learn something that I wouldn't be happy about, to be honest, then yeah, then it will be my responsibility to change that. If, for example, they say that some things should be done like this, and they ask me questions many times. They ask me questions a lot about the food, about what we eat, and especially we have a thing in the house about sugar. My son sees how his friends mention or they bring snacks to school, and it's sugary snacks, crisps, and you know, I teach them already now. And for example, if you go to a shop and we see rows of chocolate and crisps and all those sugary treats, and my son asked me, "Mommy, why do we have this? Why so many sugary things in the shop?" And then I have to explain why. You know, it's a little bit tricky, to be honest. Even for me, it's kind of too late, maybe not too late, to start building our family environment in a different way, if you know what I mean. For example, we have a rented house now, and I think maybe it's a good thing that if we bought a house years ago, it would be totally different from what I really, really want. Because for me to reach this stage where I'm now, it took years. Understanding what's happening, it took years. Doing my own research, it took years. And I see people share their experience on Joinavision. People tell how they do things, you know, and it makes me do my own research. It makes me come to my own conclusion that I would love to my children to grow up with. For example, I come across something in the news, and then I think how I would do it for our family so we are not affected. I've been doing some research recently about what it takes to have a well with fresh water.
A well?
Yeah, what it takes to have a different power source. And what it takes to, you know, have our own food and things like that. It's not an easy thing to do, but having a community of people that we can share knowledge, rely on, support each other, it's really, really important. We, as one family unit, we cannot do much, to be honest now. And also, I found that it's not easy to ask people around in our area, and they come home, they watch TV, they eat and they sleep. Life is more than that. Life is much more than that. What we do here, what is our purpose? What we're going to be doing in 5 years, what we're going to be doing in 1 year, what our children will be doing, and children will have a result of our activities in their life. Whatever we do now, this will be our children's lives.
Yes.
In the future, it's everything is connected. So whatever we have now, it's not something I want my children to have as their life. I want them to grow their food, to live with nature, you know, harmony, nature, you know, and grow their food. Not, of course, we cannot grow 100% of our food, but we, as a community, we can do this. We can have chickens, we can have greenhouses,
yes.
And also electricity and power. I'm sure there is a technology somewhere, and we will have it very soon. And yeah, so that's probably more people should ask themselves.
And gradually you'll reach out to the people in your community, and probably
hopefully, yeah.
Are there many Joinavision people where you are?
Sorry?
Are there many Joinavision people where you are?
I was thinking about posting a link to the group today, to Facebook community group. And I was thinking also, what can I put as a description of the group? What's the best way to approach it? Years will be in different worlds. Even next spring will look different.
Well, next spring we'll have to do another Joinavision meets and see how things have changed.
Yeah.
It's been brilliant talking to you, Olesya, and thank you very much for talking to me today.
Thank you, Anisha.